Mayor, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for January 19th, 2023, to order at 7 o'clock p.m. On roll call, we have Council Members Dennis. Here. Golobeck. Here. Fasolo.
Here.
Pellegrin. Here. Sheridan. Here. Council President Ballesteri. Here. Mayor Coletti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Now we're one. Now we're one. We have a exquisite evening tonight, and I use that word exquisite because we will be promoting two police officers. But first, we've got to take care of some business. We will do our prayer and flag salute. Also, I will read the statement of compliance. Then we will go into executive, and that's where you'll sit here for a little while. We'll go in the back room, have our executive meeting, and come back out. Sorry, but it has to go that way. So let's get started and call on Pastor Ron to bless this meeting. Everybody please stand.
Rest on your feet. Good evening, everyone. We're in 2023. I guess this is my first meeting in 2023. So we're going to bow our heads. Eternal Father, we just thank you. We thank you for this day today that you have made, and we rejoice in it. We thank you for the governing body of Elmwood Park. We thank you for all of the residents here. Father God, we just ask you to continue to shower your divine blessings upon our community. Give the governing body your wisdom and your grace and your mercy. We ask you this in Emmanuel's name, and we all say, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now, therefore, be advised that meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing a special meeting notice in the Record and Herald News, and by posting such a notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and also by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted and transmitted on January 6, 2023, and published on January 10th, 2023. May I have a motion to go into executive?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Stay tuned.
Whereas the Open Public Meeting Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is of the opinion that certain circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss litigation and legal reports, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. Mayor, I'd like to reestablish a quorum. On roll call, we have Council Members Dennis. Here. Golobeck. Here. Fasolo.
Here.
Pellegrin. Here. Sheridan. Here. Council President Ballesteri. Here. Mayor Coletti.
Here.
We have reestablished a quorum.
May I have a motion to open back up to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not for the public to speak, right?
No. At this time, I'm going to turn the agenda over to Police Chief Michael Foligno. Oh, and then bring them in? Yeah, sure. Okay. Mayor, at this time, we have two standalone resolutions. We have Resolution R-68-23, Promotion to Sergeant Eliseo Medrano. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following named be and is hereby appointed as Police Sergeant in the Police Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park, effective January 20th, 2023, as follows. Eliseo Medrano. Now, therefore, it be resolved that said appointment is in accordance with the New Jersey Civil Service Commission rules and regulations. And be it further resolved that the above named is entitled to the salary compliant with the current PBA collective bargaining agreement as per agreement between the officials of the Elmwood Park PBA local number 185 and the Borough of Elmwood Park.
May I have a motion on the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Fasolo. On roll call, we have council members Dennis.
Yes.
Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Council President Ballasteri.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. Okay, now we have Resolution R-69-23, promotion to Sergeant Nick Demovsky. Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following name be and is hereby appointed as Police Sergeant in the Police Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park, effective January 20th, 2023, as follows: Nick Demovsky. Now therefore be it resolved that said appointment is in accordance with the New Jersey Civil Service Commission rules and regulations, and be it further resolved that the above named is entitled to the salary compliant with the current PBA collective bargaining agreement as per agreement between the officials of the Elmwood Park PBA, local number 185, in the Borough of Elmwood Park.
Motion on the resolution, please.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Fasolo, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, we have council members Dennis.
Yes.
Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Council President Ballasteri.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Will the honor guard please escort the two sergeant candidates in? Please stand for the colors.
Honor guard. Forward. Ho! Left, 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 right. Left, 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 right. Left, 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 right. Left, 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 right. Hold 'em right. Ho! Left, 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 right. Hold left. Ho! Detail. Ho! Left. Hey!
Thank you. You may be seated. Mayor, with your permission, I'd like to introduce the two sergeant candidates.
Absolutely.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming out. Tonight, we're going to be promoting two detectives to the rank of sergeant. First, Alessio Madrano. Officer Madrano started his career in 2009 as a Patterson police officer. After being laid off in 2011, he became a police officer in the city of Passaic. In 2014, he transferred to the Elmwood Park Police Department, where he served as a patrol officer before being assigned to the Criminal Investigation Division as a detective. Officer Madrano is everything we're looking for in a leader. He's going to be asked to step up, to be a role model to the younger officers that he's going to be mentoring. And he started his career in 2009. That's not a lot of time, but he's a senior guy. He's a veteran here. We have a very young police department, and Eli, I'm going to be calling on you every day to step up and be that leader that we believe you can be. So welcome to the ranks, and I have total faith in you that you're going to do an outstanding job with this. So come on up with your family and get sworn in.
At this time, I will call up Mayor Coletti to swear in Officer Madrano alongside Police Commissioner Francesco Fasolo and Police Chief Michael Foligno.
Does anybody have any candy to give to that baby? She's got such good vocals. She's going to be a singer. Very talented. Something like you. For sure. And look at these two sweethearts.
So cute.
You're very blessed. I'm not gonna say your name, I will say your name. I
I, Alicia Madrano,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly
bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of
of the office of
Police Sergeant
Police Sergeant,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Okay, next, we have Detective Nick Demovsky. Nick started his law enforcement career in 2012 as a Class II Special Police Officer. In 2014, he was hired as a police officer for NJIT in Newark. He then transferred to the Elmwood Park Police Department in 2017, where he has worked as a patrol officer before being assigned to the Criminal Investigation Division as a detective. Nick, welcome to the family again and to the rank and file. Uncle Ed's here somewhere. There he is. He's the one who pointed you in this direction. Ed and I go back a long way, and he couldn't have been a better recommendation, Ed. Nick has served honorably. He's cut out for this role. He's a leader. He's going to go far in the ranks if he keeps, his nose to the grindstone. He's a leader. He leads by example. He's a hard worker, and everything he does, he gets respect from the guys below him. So, Nick, congratulations. Come on up with your family and get sworn into sergeant.
At this time, Detective Demovsky will be sworn in by Mayor Coletti alongside Police Chief Michael Foligno and Police Commissioner Francesco Fusillo.
Here comes the star of the show. I tell you, we got some beautiful families in this town, don't we? That's right. Isn't that lovely? I thought you wanted to swap me 5. Okay. You've been through this before, right? Say aye, and then you say your name, and then go for it. Okay, nice and relaxed. I
I, Nick Demovsky,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United
of
States
the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in
under the authority
under the authority
of the people,
of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of
of the office of
Police Sergeant
Police Sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me.
Congratulations. Council comments. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our council make some comments on what we just went through. And I will start off. Yes, sir. I will start off to my left, Councilwoman Dennis. We'll allow them to sit down, so you might want to talk about the weather for about 60 seconds. Rainy and cloudy, okay. Councilwoman Dennis is experiencing technical difficulties on her microphone. Will be with us shortly.
Okay, we're back. Sorry. May I?
They took his mic and it fixed yours?
Yeah.
See, I fix everything.
The kid has it all.
Thank you.
I just want to congratulate you gentlemen on your promotion. Thank you for your continued dedication to Elmwood Park. We're very proud of you. Stay safe, and I wish you lots of luck in your new positions. Congratulations.
Councilman Fasolo.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to both Sergeant Madrano and Sergeant Domofsky. This promotion is completely deserved. You have served our community with honor and integrity for many years. I wish you many more years of success in your new positions. I just want to make one thing clear. This mayor and council will always support our police department, all of you, 100%, every chance we get. So be safe, all of you, and God bless.
Councilman Golubek.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to recognize all the other officers that came today to support. That in itself says a lot about the department and how it's run. To you, gentlemen, congratulations, all the best. Very happy for you. I know you'll do a great job. Thank you.
Councilwoman Pellegrini.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Congratulations to you both on your appointments to sergeant. Well-deserved promotions. I wish you continued success in your careers here in our Elmwood Park community. Tonight's a proud moment for you and all of your families, as well as our community. Thank you for all you do, and may God always keep you safe. As being the police commissioner for the last 5 years, it's amazing what this force does for our community. Each and every one of you go above and beyond, and I've seen that firsthand working so closely with you the last 5 years. So again, I'm so proud of the two of you, as well as everybody else in this room tonight, because you truly make a difference each and every day in our community. So thank you all, and always be safe. Thank you.
Councilwoman Sheridan.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to congratulate two sergeants, their families. Basically, from what everybody else says, just stay safe, God bless, and enjoy.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Council President Ballesteri.
I'd like to congratulate Sergeant Medrano and Sergeant Domowski on your promotions this evening. They're well-deserved with such superior leadership. I wish you much success in your new roles and always stay safe.
Chief Foligno?
Mayor, these gentlemen have earned this honor. They put a lot of time and effort into studying for the exam. It's not an easy test. They're trusted members of now the command staff, and I look forward to working with them in their new positions. Thank you.
So what really is taking place here this evening, we're celebrating, ladies and gentlemen, 2 promotions. And when you think about it, life is all incentives. We have to set our goals, small-term goals and long-term goals. Obviously, these 2 gentlemen this evening have met that short-term goal level. And I think that in itself, it says a lot about the character of the 2. They're amongst a force of more than 50, so they must be slightly excelling. And what it does to the rest of the force, it gives them incentive by seeing how these now leaders have got to this point. So I want to wish you all luck. As our council has said numerous times here this evening, we're concerned about our community. We have a chief that is spot on when it comes to running his outfit here, and he's also compassionate. You know this by now. You know the ins and outs working with him, and I guess maybe one of you guys have your sights on his job in about 10 years, maybe 15 years. How many? Knowing him, he'll be the chief at 100 years old. But I want to wish you luck, and in nautical terms, stay the course, damn the torpedoes, and full steam ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break if you just want to commit and congratulate, and we'll see you in a little while.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have ordinances on first reading. We have Resolution R-70-23, introduce ordinance number 23-02 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending and supplementing Section 2-28.8 entitled Volunteer Fire Department Re-elections Term Limits of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Elmwood Park to expand the term limit for officers in the fire department, be passed and adopted on the first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 16, 2023, at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the borough clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Mr. Foligno, would you mind breaking this down for us?
Yes, Mayor. So the change to the ordinance is the extension of the term for the rank of chief from 2 years to 3. We had met with the chiefs of the department, the 3 chiefs, there's 3 right now, and they expressed a concern, which I feel their pain of having a very young department, young in terms of experience. I have the same situation. So they felt that in order to groom the next level of leadership, they felt it was best to extend the terms of the current chiefs by 1 year each in order to give those other officers time to grow into the positions below and eventually assume the ranks of chiefs in years to come. All 3 were in unison and they all agreed to it, and it affects the 3 of them immediately, so it was a no-brainer in our eyes.
Mr. Foligno, is there a sunset on this, or does this will stay effective unless it's changed down the road?
I'm 100% not sure on that, Mayor. I believe it has to be changed down the road.
Mr. Ingraffia, in other words,
It's an amendment to your ordinance, and it will stay and be this until you change it.
so it'll stay until
Full faith in effect until it's changed.
it's changed. Okay. Thank you. Okay, may I have a motion on the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Golubek. On roll call, we have council members Dennis,
Yes.
Fasolo,
Abstain?
Golubek,
Yes.
Pellegrin,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Council President Ballasteri.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now we have Resolution R-71-23, introduce ordinance number 23-03 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, New Jersey, adopting redevelopment plan for Block 1602, lots 2, 3, 4, and 26 in the Borough of Elmwood Park in accordance with the local redevelopment and housing law, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 16, 2023, at 7 o'clock p.m. or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
I'm going to ask our special planner, Francis, to please come up and break this down for us under a mic, hopefully.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and members of the public.
Is it on? There you go.
The one next to it. There you go.
I don't do this every day.
It's
so-
got its own mind, Francis.
so, Mayor, members of the council, members of the public, thank you this evening. So on the ordinance this evening is a first reading of an ordinance for redevelopment plan for 401, 407 Route 46. These particular properties were previously designated as an area in need of redevelopment. The mayor and council had moved those to the planning board. The report was presented to the planning board, and then back to the mayor and council, where the properties were ultimately adopted through resolution as an area in need of redevelopment. The next step in the process is to do a redevelopment plan, and this is the first step, which is a first reading of an ordinance. This ordinance will then be sent over to the planning board. It will be presented to the planning board to determine whether or not it is consistent with the borough's master plan. The planning board will review it and then provide a recommendation back to the mayor and council, at which point in the second reading, there will be a public hearing where the public can comment on the redevelopment plan. And then the mayor and council can take action based on both the recommendation of the planning board and comments by the public at that point. Typically, in a first reading, there is no public hearing. It's really just administratively to move it to the planning board. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so basically what's happening here today with your excellent explanation is we're just moving this down the trough, so to speak.
Correct.
May I have a motion on the ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion, council? Yes.
Yeah, just to be clear, this is 7123, right?
7123.
I think the first one was because there's 4 lots listed here. I think the first one is the Royal Warsaw.
Yeah, but that was already sent to the planning board, correct?
No, but I just think the order, like the one we're about to vote on is the other one, I think, in terms of the order. Just to be clear.
I have 1602.
To your point, Councilman, we flipped it, it's flipped on the agenda? The agenda?
No, it's for 871.
We're on
I think
7123.
we flipped the order in terms of.
Did I give explanation on the wrong one?
Yeah, but you got it out of the way, so you just do
Well-
the other one.
Again, I don't do this every day. I
No,
apologize.
you never know, people can, whatever.
So I just gave you the information regarding Resolution 72-23.
Now,
No, I'm sorry.
71.
71-23.
You just gave the information for 72-23.
Yes, I did. Yes,
Yes.
that's the correct one.
and I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to be a ditto for the next one.
Do you want me to explain
No,
the other first?
no,
or you
no,
wanna vote
let
on
us
it?
get through the process. Okay. All right, so we are voting here on 7123. Okay.
Let's vote on 72 since Frank spoke about it.
Yes.
And then go back to 71.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
I can't help but feel that this is my fault.
May I have a... We're not resourceful people up here. You take us out of sequence, we fall apart, so please.
What? Okay. So then have.
Okay, so I need a motion. No?
Francis, can you just explain 71, because that's the ordinance that I just read out loud for 871 River?
So this is the Royal Warsaw property.
Yes.
Okay. So for Resolution 71-23, this is an ordinance, second reading to adopt a redevelopment plan for Block 1602, lots 2, 3, 4, and 26.
It's on first reading, and then we're going to adopt it February 16th, but it doesn't have to go back to the planning board. Sorry.
I should have read my
Francis.
notes. I'm usually better at this.
It's fine.
Resolution 71-23 is on first reading to be, this was actually an ordinance that was previously sent to the planning board, reviewed by the planning board. The planning board provided comments. There was a new year occurred, and so statutorily, you cannot have an ordinance start in one year and then move it to a second reading in the second year. So in a different year. So what is happening tonight is, although the planning board has already reviewed this redevelopment plan and provided comments, the mayor and council is, because of the new year, doing a first reading, which has no public hearing. It will not go back to the planning board because the planning board already commented on it, and then ultimately come back to this board, mayor and council, for a second reading and adoption. At the second reading, it will be a public hearing where the public can make comment and provide recommendations.
Okay, so, Madam Clerk, we are voting on what ordinance here now?
Resolution 71-23, ordinance 23-03. I already have a motion by Councilwoman Pellegrin and a second by Councilman Fasolo.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, we have Councilmembers Dennis. Yes. Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Council President Ballasteri.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now we have Resolution R-72-23. Introduce ordinance number 23-04 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting a redevelopment plan for Block 1808, Lots 7 and 9, in accordance with the local redevelopment and housing law, be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 16, 2023, at 7:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the borough clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Now, Francis, before I call on you,
I got this one.
do you want a cup of coffee?
So this evening, Resolution 72-23 is up for first reading. It is a redevelopment plan for Block 1808, Lots 7 and 9. This will be sent over to the planning board for review. The planning board will review it to determine whether or not it is consistent with the borough's master plan. Recommendations for or against will be sent back to the mayor and council for a second reading. And at second reading, the mayor and council will have a public hearing where the public will have the opportunity to make comment on it, and then the mayor and council can make a decision as to whether or not they would like to proceed to move forward.
This is Route 46.
Yes, yes.
May I have a motion on the ordinance?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Fasolo. On roll call, we have Councilmembers Dennis. Yes. Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Council President Ballasteri.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Francis.
I take candy too, Mayor.
Now we have ordinances on second reading. We have Resolution R-73-23, introduce ordinance number 23-01 on second reading. Whereas the public notice has been given by the borough clerk that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to establish the water department of the borough of Elmwood Park, Bergen County, New Jersey, to fix the rates and prices to be charged for the use of water and establish rules and regulations for the distribution, supply, use, and protection of said water and penalties for the violation violation of certain said rules and regulations, was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, January 5th, 2023, and that further consideration of this ordinance will be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore it be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled, an ordinance to establish the Water Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park, Bergen County, New Jersey, to fix the rates and prices to be charged for the use of water and establish rules and regulations for the distribution, supply, use, and protection of said water and penalties for the violation of certain said rules and regulations. Passed on final reading.
Mr. Foligno, this is just as a pass-on, right, from our water company?
Correct, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to open to the public on this ordinance and this ordinance alone?
Second.
Anyone from the public here to speak on this ordinance? If not, I'll close the public order. May I have a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
First by Pellegrin, second by Fasolo. On roll call, we have council members Dennis. Yes. Fasolo.
Yes.
Golombek.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Council President Ballasteri.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to our consent agenda, we have resolutions R-74-23, approval of payroll, R-75-23, approval of bills list, R-76-23, resolution to authorize the release of escrow, R-77-23, resolution to refund overpayment, R-78-23, resolution to redeem third-party tax lien, R-79-23, authorize current estimate number 2, change order number 2, FY 2018 NJDOT MA, Mola Boulevard from Hillman Drive to Route 46, R-80-23, authorized current estimate number 2, change order number 1, 2021 Borough Road Program, R-81-23, authorized current estimate number 1, Vietnam Veterans Memorial Statue, R-82-23, authorized current estimate number 1, FY 2022 NJDOT MA Grove Street Improvements, R-83-23, award proposal for professional services alignment group, Orchard Street Drainage, R-84-23, appoint temporary building inspector, building department, R-85-23, appointment of temporary part-time position of finance clerk for the borough finance department, R-86-23, chief of police contract, R-87-23, reappoint acting municipal clerk Shanae Morris, R-88-23, authorize execution of contract with Bergen County Department of Health Services, EAP, R-89-23, authorizing the execution of a professional service contract with Stanley H. Allen, Inc., doing business as Allen Associates as risk managers for the Borough of Elmwood Park, R-90-23, appoint payroll services, action data, R-91-23, person-to-person, place-to-place liquor license transfer, number 0211-44-001-009, R-92-23, hiring employees to staff the Elmwood Park Emergency Medical Service Unit, R-93-23, appointment of Cheryl Smesson to the position of full-time fire inspector, R-94-23, resolution to approve the consent agenda.
May I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So move.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Fasolo, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, we have council members Dennis. Yes. Fasolo.
Yes.
Golombek.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Sheridan.
Yes.
Council President Ballasteri.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now we have departmental reports. We have Board of Health meeting minutes from November 14th, 2022 and December 12th, 2022. Then we have the Library Board meeting minutes from November 21st, 2022.
Motion to accept?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please. All in favor, I'm sorry. I'm consistent with that.
It's okay.
At least I'm consistent, right?
Aye.
Okay, reports accepted. Now for applications, we have Elmwood Park, Patterson, Elks Lodge, number 60, raffle license for March 10th, 2023.
May I have a motion to accept? Any discussion? All in favor?
Okay, applications accepted. At this time, Mayor, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you for council reports.
Council reports, we'll shift back to the left here and go to Councilwoman Dennis.
Thank you, Mayor. Just quickly, the Board of Ed meeting for this month is on January 24th. Just a quick update, their work sessions are now at 6 p.m. They've always been at that, but their public sessions will now start at 6:30 for the remainder of the year. They're held in the Media Center. Recreation Department, their basketball season has already started. The games are held weekly, Friday nights and Saturday mornings. If anybody wants to go and cheer on our children, they're doing a great job. And this Saturday, January 21st, from 12 to 2, you can stop by the Recreation Center and find out information about their OSNAP Weekend Warriors program, which is a special needs activities program. They're hosting an open house to come down and get some information. Other than that, progress, Mayor.
Councilman Fasolo?
Thank you, Mayor. One thing with the police department is the Bowling with the Blue on Saturday, January 28th. Complimentary food and drinks will be provided, and you can sign up on Community Pass at Parkway Lanes. It is on the 28th, from 12 to 3.
Thank you,
Progress, Mayor.
Mr. Fasolo. Councilman Golubek?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one update on the fire department. I was discussing different things with Chief Bruce, and one of the things he brought to my attention, I think is very, very positive, is that we, between last year and this year, actively have about 16 people in Fire One, in fire school, to become certified firefighters. He says it's one of the most successful, recruiting periods in recent memory. So I think that's very positive to hear that the ranks will be bolstered. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Sounds like progress. Councilwoman Pellegrin?
Yes, Mayor. My Board of Health update. They had their reorganization meeting on January 9th. They voted on new officers for 2023 year. President is John DiMarzio, Vice President Lucia Incheri, Treasurer Jeanette Randazzo. Our Board of Health meets on the second Monday of each month, except for July, time 7 p.m. in our council chambers, and their next meeting will be held Monday, February 13th. Residents Assistance Program update. Angela Fava, Director of our pantry, and Ryan from Millennium Strategies applied for a grant from the Bergen County Food Security Task Force program. The grant was recently awarded to us in the amount of $5,760. These funds will allow us to purchase a freezer, 2 canopy tents, and 1 hand truck for our pantry. These items will be very helpful and be put to good use. And then on Saturday, February 4th, our RAP program will be offering its tax preparation education session to help our residents with any tax questions they may have. Time 11 a.m., location our all-purpose room in Borough Hall, and our guest speaker will be Nicholas Pellegrin, CPA, and this class is free to all Elmwood Park residents. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you. That food pantry's moving right along, huh? No stopping.
They're doing a great job, Angela, and they keep applying, and our Millennium grant writer. They've been applying for all these grants, and they all add up. And with this new freezer, as I said at the work meeting, we'll be able to get a lot more perishable foods in now. So it'll really be a good thing for our residents, and we're getting bigger and better each year, and it's all because of everybody's teamwork. So,
Stay the course.
yeah, thank you.
Mr.
Mayor.
Gollenbeck, just a reminder, I'm not sure about the details, but we have the installation of the fire company, right, on January 3rd? You want to elaborate on that?
I don't have the date off the top of my head, but the council should have been emailed that February 3rd at the Elks Lodge.
At the Elks, and that's the new promoted officers, correct?
Yes. Yeah. We're all invited.
Looking forward to that. Councilwoman Sheridan?
Thank you, Mayor. Elmwood Park homeowners, they're going to have the Elmwood Park Police Department chaplains on Wednesday, January 25th at 7 o'clock at the Senior Center. If you need additional information, you can call in at 201-982-4919. I also have something on the Elks. They're running a Veterans Breakfast Sunday, February 19th from 8:30 to 11 in the morning. You can contact Kathy at 973-460-6979. If you're a veteran, you get 2 complimentary tickets. If you're not a veteran, it's $10 per person. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you for that update. Council President Ballesteri?
Yes, again, I think this is a great thing, the Bowling with the Blue. Chief, how does it look like on the signups?
Yesterday, they told me we had 60 signed up.
Nice.
So
very
it's good,
nice.
it's a good number.
So we're getting close to to filling up.
What-
Great.
How's that work, Sandy, do you know?
Well, the chief knows. This is a first event with the police department.
Who's playing against who? Like,
Mayor, so it's children from the community, a certain age group, bowling alongside the officers. There'll probably be 1 to 2 officers per lane, just interacting, supervising, and bowling with the kids. There's going to be food and beverages and contests and awards and all that.
excellent. I'm sorry for
No,
interrupting.
no,
you.
it was a first time. That's why I said, I know he has all the details, but it was the first event, and I thought it was excellent. I think it was ages 8 to 13, but the sign-up is doing great, so, I look forward to that. And I just want to mention also, the girls softball sign-ups was this evening, and the last one will be Saturday, 10 to 12:30 at the rec in the game room. And then, we'll go from there, but progress, Mayor.
Sounds like they're moving along
Yes.
also. Okay, I'm going to suspend my comments tonight. I'll save them for the next meeting, and I'm going to move right to the floor. Anyone from the public here to speak? It's our old bunny. Kenny's back in town.
Right on. Mayor and councilmen and people, we have big problems in town that need to be fixed. If it doesn't get fixed, I don't know who's gonna fix it, because there's a lot of issues and need to be fixed right away. If not, you'll have people gonna get killed in the street.
Could you be specific?
Yes, it's a crosswalk on Market Street, on by, Mulberry Street and Market Street, on the crosswalk, right on there's a light that's blinking, supposed to blink, but the light does not work. First off the bat, because it's dead, because there was no sun for 2 days, and the thing is dead, all right? And the second time, it was working. Only one side of the light works. Other side of the light does not blink and doesn't do nothing. Just sits and do nothing. And the one side works for an hour at a time. It rings. It stays on. And it doesn't set off. The light.
Okay.
But it's a new cross light you just put in there. And it's been broken. And I'd like to know who you're going to get it fixed, because I don't think town will fix it.
We'll get it fixed. Now that it's brought to our attention, we'll get it fixed.
Mayor, the part's been ordered, the part's been ordered, there's been a delay, and it's on the way, so.
Yeah, you know about it? Yes. All right, that's
On the parts, Mike, it's a delay on getting parts?
Delay on the parts, yep, it's still under warranty, so we're waiting for them to ship it out to us. We've been hounding them about it, and they're telling us, like everything else, everything's back ordered and delayed nowadays.
Okay.
Another thing, ma'am, that we need to know, the Chase Bank, right across the street, is gonna close down March 30th, is the last day they've been here. They're leaving. They're closing it down.
They're closing it down.
Yes, the bank,
They are.
yes.
What's going to go in there, do you know?
We don't know, but that's what I heard. March 30th is the date.
I think it's gonna be a Starbucks.
I don't think so.
Not another Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, well, yeah. Don't say that too loud, please.
And next door, right across the street. And another thing, Mayor, I'd like to know, do you want flowers in front of your building? There's a big rose of brown flowers in the front of the building, and it says the chief flowers on it. And I'd like to know, it looks like somebody died and left the flowers there.
No, he's still with us, Kenny.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Kenny, they're flowers from the Chiefs Association to the Veterans Home in Paramus, and they gave us the wreath to take here, so we'll dispose of them if you don't like them.
But Mike,
Sure?
It looks like somebody died in the town.
Michael,
It looks like to me.
Michael, you know what's interesting about that thought? All the time you put here, you deserve to be buried there.
Thank you, Mayor.
God
Time
forbid.
capsule.
God forbid.
I'm just saying to you, it looks like that somebody died.
Yeah, so what else you got for us, Kenny?
Not much more, no, but that's what I have reported for this month.
Okay,
I just want to tell you what I did, what I seen.
yeah. Well, we miss you. You better come every month. So,
Now I'm coming back and I'm going full blast. And I'm learning things with the town again. And I can tell you things I know what need to be done and need to be fixed because they're not good.
no, okay.
And I see so many people cross our street with the blinking light, not care about fixing it. Many times.
But we're on it now with, with the problem existing about the parts.
But there's anything just letting you know, okay? There's anything just, there's an issue with this thing that you don't know about. What I'm trying to explain to you. Wednesday night, it's sun, okay? When the sun doesn't light, this thing doesn't even work. It's dead to doornail.
All right, we got to get that fixed. It operates on the sunlight?
Right.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. But you see me that battery back up with it. They don't have that. Because I tried it today and they didn't even go on.
We're going to work on it, Kenny. You got to give us a little time now.
I know, but I just want to take the news.
Okay. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kenny. Before we go any further with the public, I was remiss. I should have asked permission from the council to open to the public, so I'm going to do that now. No. Kenny, you don't have to come back up and repeat that.
I just need a motion.
I have my permission?
So move. Second, whatever.
Sorry about that. Anyone from the public here to speak on anything they wish to speak about?
I don't think I need the mic because I speak pretty loud. I live over at 1-11B 16th Avenue in the Elmwood Village. Just a little bit about me. I am a Little League coach. I was a coach of the former Bombers, former class mom at 16th Ave and Gatner Avenue. Went to the Board of Education meetings a bunch during the pandemic to speak about special needs children and especially children in K-2. My son participates in Tiger Showman and also participates in EP Crew Club. My neighbor, you should all know, she's disabled. Her son KK we were the neighbor that called down to help her. And I'm also a registered voter. I'm here today because I got in the mail, on my door on January 13th, a notice from Elmwood Village about R-441-22, which is a capital improvement surcharge. And I wanted to know why residents weren't informed about this, why the council didn't go to Elmwood Village to see the apartments, why no one told us anything when we live in horrible conditions. And so I know I'm just one person, but I represent a lot of people.
Okay. Toilet issues, particularly toilet issues when flushing that gets clogged, too much heat in the apartments. We've been told from the apartment complex that the apartment buildings are old, and so sometimes the heat won't turn off or on. In her apartment, she has to use the AC into winter. There's mold in the walls, her floor is uneven, and the front door doesn't lock. In 115 Donor Avenue, a lot of the appliances don't work. She's called about the oven. For months, they said that the oven will be fixed. She just recently got the oven. There's cracks in, no, I want to tell you all about
No,
this.
no, wait.
Okay.
We get it.
Okay,
All right,
no,
we
but
understand.
I want to tell you more, because I feel like we, the residents, have been talking to the management, and nothing has occurred.
Right.
And so I want to tell you about my particular apartment. My particular apartment has lots of cracks in the wall. I've been there for 5 years. Brown water 3 times last week. I have an autistic child who loves to take a bath. And so 3 times last week, we had to wait an hour for him to take a bath for the hot water to actually turn clear.
All right.
Okay?
Excuse me 1 second there.
Yes.
Mr. Ngrafa, what's the legal procedure here that these people should seek? I think you got a double question there that you have to answer.
The complaints so far that you have stated, ma'am, I can assure you that when that particular resolution was approved, the landlord came before what is called our rent leveling board.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, they were required to give us documentation that everyone was served with the notices.
We didn't get a notice.
I didn't say
Okay.
whether you did or not.
Mhm.
I'm just telling you that at that time, the requirement was that they had to provide us documentation that everyone was sent a notice. Many, approximately about 8 individuals showed up at the hearing. They were heard. Complaints were made, similar to what you're stating. The Rent Leveling Board does not deal with landlord-tenant issues. What you're setting so far is that landlord-tenant issues, meaning that if you pay rent to your landlord, then you have rights when you pay that rent. That has nothing that this council nor the Rent Leveling Board can do for you in any way regarding that situations or those complaints that you've laid out so far, okay? As to the notice, there's documentation that it was sent. Whether you received it, it's something which you could have or would have been able to come before the board at that time, just like the other people came. But I can assure you that the rent which was granted, the amount of rent that was granted, if you look at the ordinance, it sets it for a period of years. In 20 years, that's going to be gone. No one has an increase anymore. It goes back down. So every year, although you're paying an increase, every year that increase drops down.
I mean, I
Okay.
understand that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the
But-
issue is, hold on, because there's a lot of things going on, right? Like,
What I'm trying to tell you is this board or
so
this
then
council.
why on the notice that I've received says that this city council approved it?
Well, this council approved the recommendation of the Rent Leveling Board because what they dealt with and what this council dealt with was solely the request of the improvement, the cost of the improvement for the last 10 or 11 years that have not been passed down to the tenants, which they have the right to do. They never came in and applied for it until now. So that's something which they had a right to receive. Okay?
So what is the capital improvement supposed to go to?
Capital improvement is all the stuff that they did, and it's outlined on their notice, and it's
It's not, I
outlined.
mean, when the receipt
Well,
that I got doesn't say
I'm
that.
I'm just trying to tell you.
And I'm just
if
trying to
you-
have a dialogue with you.
I know you're having a dialogue with me, but you're not listening to what I'm telling you.
I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm a college professor. I have really good listening skills. Just my brain processes a lot faster than a normal person. So I understand what you're saying, and I understand, and just understand that I'm listening, and so just my brain processes. And I don't appreciate you tell me that I'm not listening
No,
when you don't
no,
understand.
I'm not
So-
saying that you're
Let's
not listening.
keep this civil.
And I
We're trying to help,
I'm not-
trying to resolve your
I
problem.
am civil.
And there's
I
no.
am not, I don't care what your qualifications
Okay.
are, okay? And I would talk to you whether you're a PhD or a regular individual with no education.
And I appreciate that.
And I'm trying to do this in a civil manner so that you can appreciate that this council cannot act to address the concerns that you have just expressed as a tenant, which you should go against your landlord. There's landlord-tenant courts, there's landlord-tenant laws, there's
So I'm
that
gonna-
you
I'm gonna
can
pause you.
deal with
So I'm going to pause
with
you
those
for a second.
regards.
So we go to Hackensack?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what can the council then do to help disprove this resolution?
There's nothing
There's
that the
nothing.
council can do, no.
So after you approved it, there's nothing that you can do?
No, we didn't approve your conditions.
No, I'm not
Or that
saying
you're
that you-
complaining about.
I understand.
The council did not approve
So
that
wait.
the landlord can get away with all of what you just
So wait,
stated.
but wait, that's not the issue. You didn't approve R-441-22?
Again, I'm going to come back to you. That was a resolution approving an increase in rents for the purposes of reimbursement for improvements to the premises, which included roofs, playgrounds, all sorts of other things that have nothing to do with a relationship in your unit that you may have problems with in your unit or anyone's unit that is a landlord's responsibility.
I understand, sir.
Good.
Okay, so now, question is, when was this resolution pushed forward for the public hearing?
This resolution was a resolution which was an adoption of the recommendation of the Rent Leveling Board, which had a full-fledged hearing,
Okay,
and people were there that expressed their complaints as you're doing now. But that board could not answer those complaints because they're similar to what you're saying. No one complained about the increase as to the improvements that they were asking for. So that increase of the improvements was approved.
so there's no way then we can go to that board and ask for it to be amended?
You can request the board to reconsider their recommendation to this body by petitioning.
Okay.
And then we will have a hearing again.
And
Excuse me,
that's what I'm
Sal.
really asking
Sal,
for.
is there state law that sets precedent down to us?
It's your ordinance. It's
It's
your
the town's
ordinance, the town ordinance, and state law. When you have a
Capital
rent
improvement.
leveling board, that board considers all of the requests of increases in rents for the purposes of capitalization. By statute, they have a right to increase the rent 2%, but if they want to go for more, they can actually add on, depending, and they have to come before the board to have the board consider whether they would approve or recommend it to the council to approve.
All right.
Okay. But everything that was supposed to be done was done by the board. A hearing was had, people complained, and the only complaints that they complained about, and I was present at that hearing because I'm also the board attorney, and I just so happen to also be the secretary. And at that point, hearings were had, people complained, and the whole consensus of the complaints were similar complaints that the young lady here is complaining about. And those complaints were directed to the landlord. The board asked that the landlord look into it and take care of what they have to. But the board has no authority to make them do anything.
No.
That's a
building
landlord-tenant
department.
relationship,
Right.
which is under the landlord-tenant laws.
So to answer her question, can, I guess, the residents do like a class action appeal to that?
Well, it's not a class action. What I'm concerned about is her initial statement where she says that she never got notice.
So I will also say that it's routine of Morgan Properties to not give notice to all of its residents. For example, there's been work in the parking lot, and there's been routinely where they cut off the parking lot, and I can't get access to my car. I call, and they say, "Oh, someone must have not put it on your door." Routine, and that happens everywhere in Elmwood Village. Routine that they don't answer the phones. And so, yes, I guess capital improvement. How can we then ensure that my rental $30 goes to actually fixing the apartment?
Well, they got to show the actual capital improvement.
Mayor, at the hearing, there was specific documentation. I would strongly recommend that you contact the manager of the
Okay.
apartments. Sit with him because he has what he has provided us. And I'll tell you right now, ma'am, if he doesn't, I'm going to give you my number.
Please, because I was going to ask the mayor if I could
And
CC
I'm
him
going
on the
to
email.
ask you that if he doesn't, for you to contact me.
Okay.
And I'll be more than happy to contact him and demand that he provides you all the information that was provided to the board.
I appreciate that because
Okay.
in previous iterations, it's very difficult to get meetings with the manager. In fact, people pretend to be the manager at Elmwood Village, and they're not the manager. So anything you can give me, I briefly appreciate.
Mayor, can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
I want to thank the resident for coming out and, expressing yourself. I'm just going to speak for myself. I know we were dealing an issue. I know we were dealing with the rent leveling board issue. I will be the first to say I don't think I truly understood the breadth and the complexity of what was going on here. So I do want to discuss this further. I have legal questions, so I'm not going to get into it here in public. But I do think we need to dig into the entirety of the subject a little more. So that's the most I'm comfortable saying. But what you're saying is not going on deaf ears.
And I have pictures.
Yeah.
So, of different apartments as well.
Okay. You can lead the charge on it.
Mayor, can I say something, please?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, what was your name? Jillian. So I'd like to offer to you, if you'd like, you're talking about living conditions and mold and all these things. While we don't normally do this, but I'm willing to offer it, if you want a police officer to come and you could show specific stuff, we will document it in a report if we see it with our own eyes, and then you can take that to the landlord-tenant court in Hackensack, and maybe it'll help expedite the process.
So can I just tell you my experience?
Sure.
So my son pushed on the wall one time and it broke. We took pictures of the inside of the wall, black. They came and eventually fixed it, and when I was like, but there's mold in the bathroom. And you can see it on the siding, like outside, you can see the mold starting to form in the siding. What did they do? They changed the color of the siding. So they fixed it, they just put lipstick on it. So that's when I asked you about all the capital improvements, right, like brick cleaning and that kind of stuff. I assumed that they were gonna do what the other apartment was gonna do, right across the street from us. Take down the bricks, clean the interior, and then put the bricks back up. That's not what they did. They cleaned the bricks with water, high power pressure water, and then they painted the bricks. They didn't fix anything. The apartments are still inside and deteriorating because they're from the 1940s.
Again, so if you'd like, we can help you document this, whatever you're saying, so long as we see it and agree with it and put it in a report that you could take that might help the cause.
Okay, dear. Anybody else from the public here to speak on any subject they would like?
Pam Troisi, 31 Elmwood Drive. I have a question about this, and I don't know, maybe Sal can answer it, but, so as I understand, the renters have to pay an increase, I don't know if it's an increase in rent, or whatever this capital improvement thing is, but then the owner of the property benefits from the property improvement. How does that make sense? How is that fair to the renters.
Well,
So they're.
you want an answer?
Yeah.
The investment he's making, the owner's looking to get a return on his investment, so that's his goal and his objective.
Yeah,
And
but is it
motive.
really his investment if they're paying for the capital improvement? Isn't it their investment then in his property?
Well, usually the capital improvements would be maybe all new doors throughout the whole complex, or maybe they're going to paint the whole complex. These are things that I guess would represent over and above in terms of rent control. Yes.
The statute and the law regarding rent leveling is very specific. It doesn't just give a whim of the landlord to just charge whatever he charges on what he wants to charge. As a matter of fact, any increase, any rental increase in Elmwood Park, the maximum without coming before the board that any landlord can get is a 2% increase.
That
on the-
doesn't matter if they.
Can you let me
don't-
finish?
Yeah, but I just have a question before I forget that part. I don't mean to frustrate you, Sal.
No,
Even if they only
I have
own
patience
one property,
like
and the
Joe.
reason why I ask that is because my sister just got a 20% rent increase.
Well, and let me explain.
Okay.
I'm just trying to give you a little background.
Okay.
And hopefully you will understand what I'm trying to tell you. The law requires any landlord who has done improvement to a particular property, and in the next year after the improvement was done, all of the improvements that were approved were already done 10 years for a period of 10 years, okay, at this particular site. So whatever they came for, they could have come every year, but they didn't. They waited 10 years before they came before the board. They were just increasing the basic 2% that they're allowed to do. When they put it all together, that was the improvements that they have made in the last 10 years. They're trying to recoup by dispersing it among all the tenants, which is a statutory right that they can do and request. But improvements that they're going to do in the future, it's not that they're collecting money to do improvements. It's monies that they're collecting for
In the
past
past.
improvements,
Not for the future.
not for the future.
Okay.
And Sal, I'm sorry to interrupt. Doesn't the 2% only apply to a certain amount of units?
Yeah, I
and
thought so. I thought it
greater?
said 3 units or 4 units.
Yeah, if it's a single family, a multifamily home, two-family home, there's no cap.
No, no. I'm talking about, we're talking about the particular group of apartment building, okay, that you're there. They have that opportunity.
Right, that I
Okay.
understand.
But the 2% is based on the number of units, of course.
Okay, yeah, and that's why I had
Yeah.
interrupted you, because the way you were saying it, it sounded like it applied to all. So I wanted to
No, no,
clarify that, 'cause I'd have been on the
we're
phone with my
addressing,
sister's landlord.
we were just addressing
Right, got it.
the woman's concerns.
Yes,
Okay, wasn't generally talking of what landlord-tenant law
Right.
is. I'm just giving you
Okay.
an addressing of what her concerns were.
okay, got it, thank you.
Mayor, if I may, Mayor, I do think we do need, I want to echo what Councilman Golubek said. I do think we need to have another discussion on this and about its legalities and what our power is in this situation.
Great idea. Great idea. You two guys can organize the meeting?
Mayor, we're a mayor and council. I think we
Mayor,
need
can you
to
be
all-
serious? Can you be serious tonight? Seriously, this is a serious issue, and
Like
you're throwing comments out all night. It's not a joking matter.
Like, I don't get it. We're here trying to resolve this situation and trying to get it on the right foot, and you're making a joke of me and Dan taking charge on this. All right, we will take charge. Me and Dan will take charge on this.
Excellent, I'll be there with you guys.
Oh, I thought you weren't going to show.
Moving along, anybody else care to speak from the public?
Jeffrey Freitag, 35 Plymouth Drive. I'm going to reference, excuse me, I guess it was referred to as the confused ordinance here. And this is regarding R 71-23, ordinance 2303. I realize that this is the first reading of this year. It was the first reading in 2022, as Mr. Reiner stated. The one thing I have to say is this, and excuse my voice, I'm a little hoarse. If you're adopting this, the planning board did have recommendations, of which two of you sit on a planning board. And there were some suggested or whatever changes with reason. Were any of those things adopted?
Some of them, Jeff, and some weren't.
Okay.
You're talking about the recommendations from the planning board in regarding to
From what they came to us with?
Warsaw,
Right, the plan.
the plan.
And some of them were with good reason. And so now, if this is the first reading, is there going to be further discussions on the council's part to possibly adopt anything more regarding what the planning board's recommendations were? Because we all talk about adhering to the master plan. It's kind of if you're creating a whole new zone for something that never existed, and it adds a lot of things to the town, I thought that we were quite reasonable with the planning board, and I don't know what's planned to be adopted, but it was probably a large impact to what the plan was, but I think with good reason. We sent it in, we looked at it, in fact, we looked at it twice. They went and came back with a different plan. So at this point, I don't know what the plan is. Will it be shown when you do at the second reading, the actual plan? I mean,
It would have to be, because
you say it have to be.
Yeah.
There's nothing here now with it.
Michael, do we have an answer on that? If the final plan for Warsaw will be subject to open public comment on the second?
Well, it's going to be open, but you never see what it is. I don't see what it is. Anyway.
Well, basically, Mr. Freitag, what happened was the council had considered the initial passage of the ordinance and was sent to the planning board. By the time it came back, it was tabled because of the changes that the planning board requested, the council wanted to consider and adopt. When it was tabled, the planner as well came back before the council, and it was considered. All of the requests that the planning board made were considered, and if most, if not all, were considered and adopted and wanted to be adopted by this board, by the council. Changes were made to the plans because of issues and so forth, which were submitted and considered by the council. Once that was done, the year went by. So basically, what the planning board had already revised and considered and advised the council to do, the council did. And the only thing technically to be done is to reintroduce the tabled ordinance, which is being done, and then there will be the second reading.
Did it get tabled? I thought he said
It was tabled.
Okay.
It was tabled.
When was that?
In December.
Okay.
Okay.
Because
So
she
what-
said you can't carry it forward?
No, you can't carry anything over.
So now, when it's
This was
reintroduced-
basically untabling the original resolution that was forwarded to the planning board, and it's like putting the cart before the horse, but it's the same cart.
But it's not going to come before the plan.
No, it's not going to come before you because it doesn't have to. You already had processed it. And the council had already reviewed the planning board's considerations and suggestions, adopted many of most of it, and I think there was very minor stuff that didn't
That
get
the
in.
planning board requested?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Lowering from,
And I will be
height?
more than happy, yes, height was considered, setback was considered, everything that the planning board
but where does it
requested.
sit right now then?
Huh?
As
The
far
plans,
as-
we will be able to contact the planner. He will, the plans are going to be submitted for this council again before the approval.
Okay.
On the work session.
So
There's going
what
to
I'm
be,
saying is,
yes.
I don't know what the changes are.
Yeah,
because-
yeah, there's going to be
I'll answer to give you something, Mr. Freitag. By and large, the plan stayed the same.
Height-wise and everything.
By and large, there may have been some, but by and large, the first reading here tonight is the first reading, very closely mirrors the first reading from last year.
Okay, height-wise, parking-wise, setback-wise.
I can't speak to every single point, but by and large,
I mean, they were the major.
floors, units, by and large, the product is the same. You know, but when we did the study and the first reading way back, it's the product of 2 years of negotiations on the borough level. So, you know, in theory, the first reading, while the planning board has a comment section, if the first reading is happening, more than likely, the council is comfortable with that plan as it stands. Obviously, takes the comment into consideration, but
So based upon what you just told me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was decided 2 years ago, over the course of 2 years,
correct.
of the plan that was presented to us.
Probably 2 years ago, initial discussions of somebody being interested in that site started. As with all redevelopment plans that'll come before the planning board, they don't happen in a 2-month span prior to that meeting. And I'm saying 2 years, could be 18 months, could be 4, just over a long period of time. My point is that, you know, it isn't somebody comes in and says, hey, we're buying this or we own this, here's what we want, and then we just stick it on a plan. There's a lot of back and forth and a lot of different things that go on to mold it into what it is.
Some changes were made. Well, not changes, what
Well, I'm
the
just
recommendations
saying,
weren't considered.
As a member, as the chairman of the planning board and a member of the planning board,
Mm-hmm.
I think we always try to consider a lot of things. The master plan is it really is what our goal is, I guess. Does it fit master plan? I guess everything would, because it's that master plan is a document that could be, it captures a lot of things. But I mean, when it comes down to brass tacks, the people that live there, all that really impacts. In the town, there are other areas that are going to be considered, I'm sure. I think the planning board tried to be fair. If it was our goal to be fair, I guess it would be to come up with a solution that maybe was not so impacting and looking like, I don't want to say where other places have these things, but in some spots, when they're done like this, they look awful. And considering the fact that it went to the planning board, we made, I think, very, very good recommendations. Maybe others didn't think that, and that's your right. But it's kind of tough to think that it just fell aside and, well, the developer came. So it's kind of like, damn the homeowner or the people that live in the town for quite a while, and the hell with it, let the developer come in and do everything. And that's where we're headed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Freitag. Anyone else care to speak from the public? If not, excuse me, I will close the public portion. I believe we are finished and... What? Yeah, executive, but we're finished. Okay, so I need a motion to go into executive.
So move.
All in favor? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you being here this evening. Sorry about the wait earlier on.
Whereas the Open Public Meeting Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss litigation and legal reports, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. Thank you.
Sal.